Now, Rick, I know you're a big trivia fan. I know you're obsessed with trivia. And I thought to myself, well, how can I entertain Rick on Saturday?
Go on.
So I was wandering around on the web looking for trivia, basically, that could entertain you. And you're a big animal trivia fan.
I love animal facts.
There's not much that you don't know about animals.
Oh.
But here's
You're going to catch me out now, aren't you?
No, well, I don't know. Here's one. I don't know if you've heard this one before. Ants never sleep.
No, I know. Yeah.
Oh, I know.
And
and
they've got alcohol in their blood, so they don't freeze and winter. And that's why you never see a lazy ant. It's always working. It's drunk, but it's always working.
They never sleep, but they do take a lot of fag breaks.
Yeah, I know, yeah. I think it's because they can't sleep, because it's like noisy neighbours. There's about 1 million of them living sometimes in a room, and it must be very... But you see them carrying a leaf, and they see someone else, and they go, do you want a hand with that? And they go, don't be silly, you're carrying some at 8 times your body weight as it is. He goes, well, you know, I've got another pair of hands free. Yeah. Give you a hand. Yeah, they're great.
No, they're incredible. They're incredible.
Yeah, I knew that one next.
Okay, well, this is one I'm throwing right at you as well, Carl. There's only one bird that has a penis.
It's not a joke.
It's not a joke. It's not a joke. This is a genuine trivia question.
I'd say... Oh. I think I've seen one on this. Is it an ostrich?
Right, you're going for ostrich, Carl?
I'll go for ostrich as well.
Right. Did you come up with that yourself, or...?
Yeah, I was going to say that before you said it.
Well, guys, you went for ostrich.
Chicken?
You're both wrong. It's actually the swan.
The large chicken.
Yeah.
What? That's a bit worrying then, because I thought I saw an ostrich penis, so what was I looking at?
I don't know, were you just examining it closely at the zoo? What were you...
I just...
It's probably a strap-on.
It was probably 2 leather ostriches giving each other one.
Exactly.
And that's how that can influence people. Things like that. Dirty, filthy leather ostriches can
confuse a child if he's at the zoo and he doesn't know.
A swan's got... That's really annoying. I'd never give a swan a knob. So it's the little puffiest of all birds. It is the puffiest of all birds. Isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm protected by the queen. But I need a knob. If I had to give a knob to any bird,
Good question.
No,
I wish I'd posed that myself. If you could give a knob to any bird, what would it be? Phone in.
Vulture.
Of course a vulture.
They need a
big veiny bang stick.
Yeah.
What about yourself, Carl? If you could give a knob to any bird? And don't make it rude, or if I could give a knob to any bird, I'd make it that.
What bird do you see suiting up? It's got to be a bird of prey or something like that, hasn't it? Cool.
Just a robin, really.
That would be amazing.
That would be Christmas cards would be like...
Yeah, but it's a normal human-sized knob on a robin. That'd be great, wouldn't it? And the other thing annoying about this is ironic, right? Now, the male of all bird species they're called cock.
Yes.
Right. But the only bird with a cock, right, is called a cob.
Is that what a swan's called?
Yeah, they're cob and pen. They're not cock and hen.
That's annoying.
And he isn't a cock, but he's got a cock.
Yeah, yeah. Quick query there, Rick.
Go on.
When you said then cock, presumably you meant male bird the first time you said it.
Yeah.
The second time you said it, you said cock. Did you mean the penis?
Well, you're showing off the whole farce of radio broadcasting.
Because you're not really allowed to say cock.
No, exactly, no. One cock would cause great offence.
Yeah.
The other cock's fine.
Exactly.
It's weird, isn't it?
It is strange. It is strange. So, I mean, if I said now to you, you know, oh, I like cocks.
Yeah.
Meaning birds.
Yeah, that's
that'd be fine.
Yeah.
But if I meant penises, it would be a problem.
If you like cocks and it was penis, yeah, that would be...
Carl, do you like cocks? Do you like cocks?
No.
Right, okay, that's fine, I was asking if you like...
No, I like, you know...
Yeah. Well, I'm a big fan of, tits.
The small birds that come down and peck at you.
Yeah.
Yeah, you like tits and cocks. There's nothing...
Tits and cocks.
There's nothing wrong with... There's nothing... Carl, don't worry. There's nothing wrong with saying tits and cocks.
When I said tits, I meant the little birds.
Yeah,
and when I said cocks, I mean the big birds.
This week's Ricky Gervais film review is Jungle Book.
The Jungle Book?
Yeah.
That was made in, what, 1968?
I don't know, but listen, shut up, right? It's a good review, right? Right, for people who either have heard it or haven't, you know, you might learn something.
Sure.
Because it's sort of my take on it.
Has the review begun yet, or...?
No, it's some from now, yeah?
Okay,
go. Right, the little kid, he's the jungle, right, but he knows the bear and the panther, they're good friends, but it's dangerous because you got to watch out the tiger and the snake. Now, the reason is, they don't mind him, but he's human and he can make fire, they can't. That's why he's sort of in demand, even though they've conquered the power of speech, they can't make fire. And then, the orangutan gets him. Now... he's in trouble, but the bear puts coconuts on and makes himself look like it. Then they fall off. They've got to get away, but then he meets a girl, and then they're not, you know.
Okay. Do you write these yourself?
Yeah.
Or you don't get a professional to do it? Right.
Oh, no.
Okay. And what would you give that one out of 5?
It's 9.
That's a 9 out of 5. Strong review there. A strong film then for you.
One again.
And you'd recommend that for friends and family?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just on video or DVD or in the cinema.
Okay, good. All right, and the film again was?
Jungle Book.
Jungle Book. Jolly good. All right, thanks very much for that.
Again, I broke the rules in the week. I met up with Carl. I had lunch with him. And we were chatting and having a cup of tea. And it got onto one of Carl's favourite programmes, was the Tales of the Unexpected.
Ah, of course.
And all I can think is that he's probably the only person in Britain where they were unexpected. I mean, to him, when that twist came in, and you go, gee, I can't...
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Can't believe
So
it.
it was the tree that did it. And I mean, he was probably the only... And we were telling all these stories of horror, and he liked horror stories. And I told him this story. And I don't know if this had come across the radio, but I told him this story. It was a short. It was a horror short.
This was a film you saw, was it?
Yeah, yeah. And what it was, it started off, just there'd been a car crash. You see, it's a horrendous wreck. And you saw it from the point of view of the person in the car. And he was calling for his mate, and he was going, Dave... And he sort of looked over and saw a body without a head that had been thrown. He goes, "Oh no, Dave, Dave!" And then into the field of view came Dave, his mate, and looked at him with a look of horror. And then it sort of went black, and you realised that he was just a head, and it had been his body.
Oh wow!
Right?
Yeah.
And I said, then it came up at the end, at the executions in the French Revolution. People experience consciousness for and he went, "Oh." No, he said, it wouldn't be for that long. And then he went, if it was a chicken, it would work. Imagine remaking that film, but it's two chickens in horrendous car crash.
Their own fault for driving.
It would work. No, he wasn't having that.
Yeah.
No, it was too long. I think he said, how long was this film? I went, oh no, 5 minutes. He went, no. It would work if it was a chicken.
I like the way that Carly was something like, when you relate an incident like that, he's appalled and offended and annoyed by the people that made it, even though he's never seen it.
Oh, he's annoyed, yeah.
Do you have a favourite Tales of the Unexpected, one that you remember particularly that shook you up?
Yeah, we were talking about the one on where there's some woman in prison. Have you seen that one?
No, I can't remember them all.
Right. This woman's in prison.
Yeah.
And she gets a bit friendly with the guy who takes the dead bodies out.
Right.
And he said, I can get you out of here. He said, what you've got to do, right? You've got to, I don't know, at midnight...
When you hear the bell toll, that means there's been a dead body.
Yeah, there's been a dead body. So what you've got to do is go into, like, the place where all the dead bodies are, get in the first coffin on the right, and then I'll come along and carry you out, and you can run away and escape, right? So she goes, yeah, all right then. So she hears the bell go.
I'll bury you, right? And then I'll come back later and dig you up.
Right.
Yeah, but
that's the
that
point.
bit doesn't matter.
It does matter. Trust me, Carl, it
All right,
really
then,
matters.
okay.
Listen, I don't know if I'm going to ruin this for people at home.
Yeah.
Can I just skip to the end? I would imagine that she gets buried and he doesn't come back, and she has to get buried alive.
Better than that. So she gets in the coffin, and she's lying there for ages.
She's
and
buried.
She can feel a bit of movement going on, so she's obviously, being carried somewhere, so she's thinking, this is it, I'm getting out. And she's lying there for ages and thinking, why ain't someone coming and lifting the lid off this? Do you know what I mean? Letting me get out. So she's really bored. She gets a lighter out, right? Lights it to have a look at who she's lying on. It's only the fella who said he'd help escape.
Oh.
How bad is that?
That is... How bad is that?
So it is quite important that she's buried alive then, isn't it? In retrospect, you realise that the jeopardy is that she's buried alive and can't get out.
Yeah.
It makes it so much worse, doesn't it, than just like lying in the morgue and going, actually, I'm getting out of here.
Yeah.
This isn't going to work.
Look at Carl's face. Having told that, he's so pleased. His face is lit up. He's beaming like a child.
Have you seen any?
Is that your favourite horror thing ever?
What was that one you told me about with the porn? That was a good one.
Oh, this was fantastic, right? Right. There was this...
Sorry, can I just check now? We're just remembering classic episodes of the Tales of the Unexpected
this is important. Well, I saw one, right? I saw one on Tales of the Unexpected, right? And it was these two gents. What they used to do, they look down the obituaries and they'd blackmail the wife or the son of a dead eminent person, like might be a priest or a doctor, like that, and they'd go and they say he bought some erotic stuff from us before he died, and he owes 100 guineas and all this sort of stuff, and they'd pay up because it'd be so embarrassing. They just didn't want them, so they'd just pay him, right? And this one bloke said, who are these people? I'll meet with them. And he goes round there, and he goes round, and they go, your father, he goes, my father could not have bought any erotic material from you. No, he did it, he goes, he couldn't have, he's blind. Right, and that was the twist. And Carl went, so it was magazines, not videos then.
Yeah. Now think about it, Steve. Is that so stupid?
Well, presumably it was set in olden times because professional
right.
pornographers don't tend to call it, erotic material.
Yeah.
They tend to call it, juicy jugs or whatever. But more than that, I don't understand how a video is going to be any use to a blind person either. I know that you can hear the sound, Carl. Look at him nodding like he's caught me out.
Yeah, what sound will you hear? Do, 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 do. Your meter needs looking at? Yes. Cut. What's then? What's that? Then it's just noises, isn't
Occasional
it?
groans.
Yeah.
Right.
You could listen through the wall at your neighbours.
He does.
I mean, that's why I save a lot of money. But I thought you were going to point out, Carl, that they could have had a Braille porno. Now, have you thought of that?
Look, feel the lumps on that.
Exactly. Think about it, Carl.
Think about it.
You're excited now.
Yeah.
Your girlfriend's away, Carl.
Yeah, the cheese grate has only entered the cupboard. How did baguettes come about? If this is going to be someone cooked a loaf a bit wrong and said, I can still make a sandwich out of it, I'm going to hit you.
No.
Go on then.
Right. Napoleon, when he was at war and that with Russia.
1812, yeah.
Yeah, all his soldiers were like, not used to the cold weather and that. So they said, take some clothes in your bag with you because it's going to be
Chilly.
nippy out there. So they put all the clothes in the bag.
Sure.
They were told.
Thought,
it's Napoleon, for Christ's sake.
No room for any food.
No room for
You're
any
joking.
bag,
So
Couldn't they make some sort of like sandwich?
no, it wouldn't fit because of all the clothes. You had to take extra gear.
Sure.
So anyway, he said,
I can see where this is going. I'll be honest.
Is there a baguette-shaped gap left in their holdall?
They thought, let's make some bread that you can fit down your trouser leg.
What?
That's not true! That's it's not, Carl.
I read it in Euston train station. I was waiting to go back to Manchester.
Where did you read
What,
these?
scrawled on the wall in graffiti?
Yeah.
Do you know
Was it also meet me here for cock fun at 12 o'clock?
The upper crust sandwich shop, Euston station. It's on the wall.
What do you mean it's on the wall?
Do you know how it says, like, sail on at Dixon's, whatever?
Yeah.
Next to that, there was, like, a bit of information. Once you've read the stuff on Dixon's...
Baguette information.
There was a big thing about history of the baguette. I read it and I thought,
Wait a minute.
No,
so
we got to make a sandwich we can fit down our trouser leg.
But how can you march and fight with a huge piece of bread down your track?
Although it would be intimidating. You see them coming, you go, sacre bleu, look at the size of them. They're big fellas. Well,
Blimey. I can't help but feel that could be a practical joke at your expense.
yeah.
wouldn't do that.
Well, the Earl of
Do you
Sandwich...
ever question anything you read? If it's printed up, is that,
Yeah.
like, fact for you then?
Well, it's not funny. I mean, if they were trying to be funny, it's like... It's not, is it? So it's information.
Have you heard us? Things sometimes want to be funny when they're not.
That's exactly what happened with the sandwich. The Earl of Sandwich wanted something he could fit down his pants. And it was those triangle cut sandwiches wrapped in cling film were perfect. You might be right. You might be right.
I am.
Because the Cornish pasty, so they could drop it down the mines, isn't it?
Is it?
They wrapped it up they wrapped up like meat and vegetables in pastry, and they sort of crimped it, and it was like and they dropped it down the mine. So, yeah, that's how that came about.
And bagels were originally made so that people could play hoopla, but then eat afterwards. I don't know if you're aware of that. That is true, Carl.
Well, anyway,
I call my bluff. Is one of them true?
yeah,
They're all true.
They're all true.
Really?
Tell your kids that when you have them.
Yeah.
The XFM Vault. The Ricky Gervais Show featuring Stephen Merchant and Karl Pilkington.
XFM.
Someone phoned up to confirm they used to work for Upper Crust, and basically Carl got all excited. So it is true. She went, well, I don't know if it's true. I've read the same sign you did, Carl.
Interestingly, there's an email here that says, which basically offers a history of the baguette, and talks about after the revolution, the government decreed that all of France must eat the same bread, and it was up to the bakers to bake this bread of equality. And then Napoleon kind of made sure it was a particular. He kind of set in.
Obviously, on the bread, you can eat anything you find in the garden: frogs, snails, bits of horse,
But
squid.
the interesting thing is, Rick, that there's no mention of sticking it down your trousers whilst going to war.
The French have tried to keep that secret for over 100 years,
It was only
Steve.
the upper crust people. that
Yeah,
managed to,
nearly
yeah,
200 years. That is a top secret. Somehow Euston Station upper crust got hold of a document left behind in an old sea chest, possibly Napoleon's. Could have been Josephine's. Unfortunately, jotted it down. He's kicking himself now. Oh, Secretary, I cannot believe I left a note. If he talked like that.
He did.
He did that. Yeah, he talked English, but in a very funny French accent.
Do you remember, there was one thing that, talking about funny French accents, you remember Allo Allo?
Yeah.
Remember, it was on about 5 o'clock in the afternoon, but they still meant, because it was a funny Frenchman, it was that English guy who was posing as a French police officer.
It's very complicated
He
plot.
would often walk by, and I remember there was one where he said, I was pissing by the door when I heard a shit.
Oh yeah.
Now, that's
passing
I'm allowed
by
to
the
say
door.
that. I'm allowed to say
passing
that.
by the door when I heard a shot.
That's what he's saying. I'm
Yeah.
allowed to say that at 2 o'clock because that I'm just saying I'm talking in a French accent.
Yeah.
I was pissing by the door when I heard a shit.
Yeah.
That's fine
Yeah.
because I'm speaking French, Carl.
Do you know
understand?
what I mean?
That's the rule.
Do you know why people tink the glasses before they have a drink?
Why they tink? The verb to tink.
I do know that, Carl. Is it about poison?
It is.
Here we are.
What would it make a different noise?
Oh,
Brilliant. Go on, explain.
Why?
it,
you
Carl.
explain it, Steve.
No, don't Steve. You explain it, Carl. Come on.
Oh,
I've
you-
started, so I'll finish. Come on, Carl. Explain why they tink the glasses.
Ages ago,
Yeah.
only people with money had drinking or something.
That's like one of my film reviews. Years ago. Welcome to History Now. Now, ages ago, only people with money had drinking or something.
Keep going, Carl.
Keep going.
Like spirit and stuff. So they'd it's like businessmen with money.
It's easy for you to say. This is getting to be cruel, isn't it?
This is amazing.
Yeah, go on.
Why
Go
did
on.
you open your mouth, Carl? What were you hoping was the best that could happen?
Because you were trying to make me look stupid before with the planet, so I'm not
Whereas you now.
Yeah, go on, though. Come on. Businessmen with money have got to drink and ching. Okay, so then with all the drinks...
So they'd nip round to have a chat about the whatever they're earning money with, and they'd say, "Right, do you want a drink then?" And they'd go, "Oh yeah, that'd be all right." So
yeah.
rather than like just pouring it out of a bottle into a glass and saying, "There you go," it could be going, "Hang on a minute," it could be poisoning me ear and trying to like nick my business idea.
Yeah.
So what they'd do, it sort of pour a bit of his drink into the other person's glass, and you get that tink noise, and that's like cheers, you know.
No, Carl, I just have a slight amendment there. I think what it was you're absolutely right that they would then test each other's drinks to show that it wasn't poison. But over the years, that was reduced to just chinking the glasses by way of saying, let's not actually bother going through the whole rigmarole. They just did the
Yeah.
chinking of the glasses
Yeah,
as
well,
a kind of symbolic way of saying it.
Yeah, that's good.
It was exhausting though, wasn't it?
I know.
Was it worth it, do you think?
Well, I like that because people carry that with them now. When they do that, they'll think, oh, that bloke's definitely not trying to poison me.
Yeah.
So the horrible thing is that now, when they do the glasses, I can laugh and go, they don't know I've poisoned them.
Exactly.
You should always do the pouring back and forth. It's a shortcut. It's a slippery slope. You know, just be careful.
There was a story I heard in the week, I think it was on the radio, and I don't know all the details, but what I heard was that a number of, I think it was Falkland, maybe Gulf War veterans, were, I think, suing or complaining to the government because they wanted compensation for post-traumatic stress disorder. Now, I don't know all the ins and outs of it, but it seems to me that if you're in the army and you're a soldier, a certain degree of trauma is kind of inevitable. I mean, after all, if you're any good at your job, you are going to see people getting killed. So I don't understand what the ins and outs of it are. I don't know why.
Nobody came back and Tony Blair met him and go, all right, well, not really, no. Go on, what's the matter? Well, if there was people shooting at us and everything, it was all muddy. Well, calm down, don't cry. Well, I will cry.
There was a drill sergeant just kept shouting, saying, "Look at you, stupid boy! Where's this
he's
gun's
got a
not
train,
clean?" And I
hasn't
just
he?
cleaned the gun, and it was fine. And now he's telling me to clean it again.
Yeah, and the boots, they were shiny.
fine, he was
Well, he's
showing.
got to do that. It's more
His
distant.
neck was as big as his head.
Well, yeah, but you don't know what they, you know.
I don't know what the ins and outs of it are, but
What you got to do is make sure you know what you're going into. That's what I do. You got to check the small print. So if I was, going over to like the Falklands or the Gulf, I'd put my hand up and go, will it be horrible? I go, you hit the back, yes. Will it be horrible? It will be horrible. Yes, it will be horrible. There will be shooting and lots of death and everything. I go, right. I'm not going to go. And they go,
Exactly.
okay then. Okay.
that should be fine. Yeah.
Should be fine. Yeah, just like that. Is anyone else scared about this? Pretty much all of us. Okay, then we won't send anyone then.
My brother went into the army, right? Because he couldn't get a normal job, and my dad said, you know, if you don't get a job by such a date, that's it, son. You're going in the army. And so when was the Falklands? Was it about
81,
right? And he joined back in like 81 or something. And he I don't know, he was in Aldershot or something.
Oh yeah.
And he wrote back to my mum saying, you know, a bad time to join, bad time in this. So she wrote.
What bad time to join? That's so sweet, Carl, isn't it? That's like, dear Dad. Yeah, well done.
Don't know if you've noticed.
Yeah. I was on the dole, that's for sure. Thank you for joining a month before the Belgrano.
Anyway,
go on.
My mum called up, spoke to the sergeant, and said, "Can you leave him out of this one?
Can you leave him out of this one? What, the Falkland War?
He's only just joined," and she called him Chuck, which he got done for. Like, she's one of them, I think it's a northern thing, like saying, "How are you, Chuck?"
Yeah.
And she called the sergeant Chuck, and the sergeant said to like, my brother, your mum, you know, she's called up and asked if you can not go, which, of course, you know, I mean, we'll see how it goes. But can you tell
What
her?
do you mean? Why did the sergeant even entertain this?
Well,
Pilkington, come here. Your mum's been giving me a bit of earache. Now listen, tell her I've told you, but can you call her, because she called me Chuck and everything. Can you call her and say you don't mind? Well, not really. Oh, please, because I've promised her say you want to go. No, please, say you want to go. Why was he entertaining this phone call?
probably because he was new.
What?
Because he was new to the army, I suppose.
Who? No, I mean the
your brother.
sergeant.
I don't know. Maybe they do that.
So what happened? He didn't go in the end?
So he didn't go. No.
You can't do.
But that's ludicrous.
I love it though. Okay, we went over the top. Pilton, I've got a note. Yeah. Is this really your mum? Yeah. Okay. No, this seems to be in order.
Because I noticed it says, I do not want to go into the army. I don't want to go and fight, and it's crossed out and it says, my mum says don't.
Yeah.
Go. Now you didn't write this yourself.
No,
did you,
my mum
Pilkington?
wrote this. Okay,
You definitely wrote this yourself.
Your excuse. You're going to have to fill envelopes.
No, I'm sure if he was needed, he would have had to go. But I think they made a bit of a special effort. They sort of said, "Oh,
Well, it wasn't conscription anyway. Oh no, I see.
But
he was
were
in
the other
army, wasn't he?
soldiers
What's he
going around
there?
just going,
Pilkington.
no." He ended up being a mechanic in there, and he got kicked out for going for a packet of fags in a tank.
what?
Now wait a minute. Do you mean he nipped down the shops
Yeah.
in a tank?
Yeah.
I don't believe that, Carl. You've
Honest to
made that up.
God, that, and he went off with the sergeant's wife, so that didn't help, and he ended up getting kicked out.
Sorry, your brother's a genius.
I love this. First of all, he gets a call from his mum, going, let him up. He goes, oh, God. Then he goes, where's Pilkington? His mum's on the phone. Where is he? He's near your house, Sergeant. Near my house? Well, why is... No reason. Well, when he comes back, when he's finished, tell him his mum called. And can he get me a packet of fags? Tell him to walk this time. This is ludicrous.
So the sergeant found out that he was sleeping with his wife?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
Did your mum phone up and say, let him off?
Let him off this
court-martial him.
time. Can he... Yeah. That's fantastic.
But he misses it. I mean, I haven't seen him for about 11 years, but ever since he came out, he's just kept getting into trouble and that. And the army, you know, people slag it off, but I think if you're a certain type of person, it's good for
It
you.
didn't straight him out, did it?
No.
He was going down the shops in a tank, he was shagging someone
No,
behind
but
their back.
it's
Yeah.
really weird. It's like back then, he was like a proper adult, and he had a house, and he collected crystal with his wife and that. And now, he hasn't got any of that.
Has he got the wife?
No,
Has he got the crystal?
don't think he has.
And he hasn't got the
I
house.
seriously haven't seen him for about 11 or 12 years.
Oh,
So I haven't even spoken
it
to
always
him.
Carl's stories always start off nice and funny, and then they just leave me empty and slightly depressed. I don't know whether to hug him or shoot him, put him out of his misery. Can we take Carl to the... phone in if you think I should take Carl to the vets and have him put down, because it's just too stressful.
XFM.
Just to recap, Carl is 30 this year. He never went to get his results of his GCSEs. So myself and Steve took it upon ourselves to phone his school, track them down, and we actually got your results. What did you think you took?
Did English,
Right.
maths,
Yeah.
art,
Right.
and I think I did physics.
Okay. Well, you didn't do any of them.
Eh?
You didn't do any of them. You didn't register. You registered for one exam and took one exam and got results for one exam. So I don't know what you thought you were turning up to, or you weren't registered, or you didn't
You're familiar with the notion of registering for an exam. You have to kind of officially register in order to be eligible.
What do you mean, register? I turned up for a couple.
Yeah, you can't just show up. You have to register for them.
You have to pay this because it costs the school money, so they have had to have paid for you if they thought you were going to pass. You can't just turn up on the day and ask for some paper at the front.
I never got a letter telling me that.
Well, that's because you were never at school.
But you did somehow register or registered for one exam. You registered for history.
It's a topic that you've always been interested in.
Oh, I was saying to Ricky before, World War II, I loved it.
Not the actual event.
No,
the
but
study
just
of it. You
all
mean?
the stuff like about the Anderson shelters and stuff like that.
Yep.
And the bombs and that.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I took it, it had nothing to do with that. It was more about the Tudors.
So it didn't. The Second World War didn't come up. You mean there were no questions about the Anderson shelters?
Nothing.
That's devastating.
So
what are you expecting the result to be?
is that seriously? Is that it?
Yeah, it's the only one you took and registered.
As far as the school is concerned, or certainly in
it's the
terms
only
of
one
what
that
they told
counts.
us.
It's the only result. It's the only one that counts. Yeah, you've got.
I don't. Did you register for yours?
Yeah.
Yes.
I've got certificates and everything.
So what do you do that before the exam? Do you have to go somewhere and sign something, or?
Yeah, you don't check your results and then decide if you want to register. It's not like Millionaire when you look at the question and go, I think I'll take the money.
Yeah.
You go.
No.
But anyway, you must have registered for one, or maybe your teacher put you in for
I didn't do it.
They must have been confident. They must have been confident. They must have thought your best bet was history.
Right. So, what did I get?
You got an E, which I think, I mean, technically, is a pass.
E.
It's a bad pass, but there's F
How
and there's
much
U.
longer
You're not
Did you
going to be
go?
doing a PhD.
You can get an F, right, which is fail, and then a U, which is ungraded. Now, I don't know why the U exists, because F means you failed. U is like them going, you not only failed, but you wasted my time.
So,
We're annoyed
Yeah,
that you took
yeah.
this exam.
so who thought they'd register me to get an E?
Well, they didn't.
Well, they
think
didn't.
you'd
I
get
think
any.
they were hoping. It was rather like you with the lottery. They were hoping
see-
for something better than
You
nothing.
see, I assume that the man who registered for that thought he can scrape an E if Anderson shelters come up.
Yeah.
Well, that's it. You've got. Now, what I'd like to do, Carl, is I've started your re-education. You've read a book on Rasputin. I'll be asking you a few questions about that later. I've got another book for you to read next week. Next week, I've got a
I'm
little.
not in the mood.
What?
Not in the mood.
Oh, come on! Look, what's that? What does that say?
It's that fella. It's the picture of the bloke they used to use for Citizen Smith.
Yeah, Che Guevara.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was quite happy, I think, when he found out that Robert Lindsay was involved. He went, yeah, of course you can. No worries, yeah.
What
So-
are your feelings, Carl? What
do you think? Are you
emotions
depressed?
I'm just a bit annoyed because I'm sure I turned up for more, so it just wasted me time.
Listen, they don't matter.
I'm sure I
you're
did
doing.
more
You're
than
doing
one.
very well. You know, you can educate yourself. GCSEs are merely a step on the ladder to help you, not just for education, but you know, they're more vocational than anything else. You're doing very well, and you're reading books. Don't worry about it. But
It's
can I
not a
suggest
concern.
something? But if you want, I'll pay for you to take history again.
Carl, we'd love to see you get a C or above. And
Well,
we're
I'll
willing
pay
to...
for you, and I'll get you some books. Right now, listen. We can let's get. I reckon. When are the exams? June.
Something like that, yeah.
We'll try and register next week, and I reckon you can get an A or B
I'm
history.
busy. I'm busy.
in history. No, don't worry about it. It's just easy. I get you Brody's notes. If Heat magazine, they love you, Carl. They could probably sort something out. They could probably pay for a tutor. They got a lot of money. They sell a lot of magazines.
I mean, it is almost always, and you found that out, I discovered this, it's always the Tudors and Stuarts. There's no fear for them not coming up. Now, what do you already know about them? You must already know stuff about Henry VIII and Elizabeth.
No, because it's too long ago to even get interested in. Do you know what I mean? You can't.
Is that why you
relate
didn't-
To it.
Okay.
The Anderson thing. It was like, God, you know, I bet my mum and dad were in an Anderson shelter. You know, this is interesting.
What, when they-
Oh, my granddad would have like had something to do with this. But the Tudors, it's like I don't know even if they had a family back then.
Play a record. If we come back
Hang
to
on,
this.
hang
Sorry,
on, hang on.
Steve,
Just because I need to introduce the new feature.
Yeah,
For the
I
record.
don't know if I had a family back then.
Carl,
You're a
listen, let
genius,
me just
Carl.
ask you now, right? If you can finish this sentence, we've got a chance. Divorce, beheaded, died. Divorce, beheaded.
Died. What is it?
We just need to do a little bit of work, but otherwise I think you're going to be fine. It's how you remember what happened to Henry VIII's wives.
They're little...
Divorced, beheaded, died. Divorced, beheaded...
It's like spam. Support... What's it? Support, protection, anchorage, movement. That's how
You're
you
going to that's nothing to do with the Tudors
No,
and
that's to
Stuarts.
do with the skeleton.
Yeah, see, no, we're not doing biology.
Mnemonics and acronyms and...
What happened to Henry VIII's last wife? Did she die, or did she not die? Divorced, beheaded, died. Divorced, beheaded...
Do you know that the only king that has got a moustache is... No. The only king that hasn't got a moustache is the King of Hearts on the playing cards.
See, I was going to say, this has backfired a little bit, because Carl is genuinely... I don't know if he's actually upset or embarrassed, but it doesn't matter. Why does it matter? You were 15 and didn't go to school.
If you were my friends, I think you would have just said, "Oh, we can't find them."
Why?
Because
But you just wanted to know.
What to do with that?
Well, what do you mean? What do you mean? It's ridiculous. Do it again because you want to learn, because there's great things in the world to learn about. Don't worry. The GCSE is vocational. Is vocationally for a 15, 16-year-old to go on to do A levels or whatever, or to get results. But you don't need that, because you've done very well. You don't care about the Tudors and the Stuarts. I mean, you know.
I mean, I've had a couple of jobs, not this one, because you don't need qualifications to get a job.
Obviously.
Yeah.
In the radio.
Yeah, obviously a
You're
job.
absolutely right.
But
Yeah.
ones that I have got in the past, I did, because I didn't collect them, I had to lie. And I didn't like go mad. I didn't say I had A's and stuff. But I didn't put history down because I didn't even know I did it. But like,
So it's a bonus.
I kind of treated myself to like a D and a couple of C's and that. So it's like, well, he's not.
I love the fact that Carl even then was honourable. It's like, I'll at least put down the ones I think I took and lie, but the ones I didn't take, I won't lie about.
Yeah, and don't give yourself a B.
Exactly.
If they're going to find out you lied, give yourself a B next
it
time,
could
Carl.
backfire, couldn't it? I mean, my brother's a bit mental, and he used to do things like go for jobs and say, "Oh yeah, I've done this before," like being a mechanic, and he's never even picked up a spanner, and yet he'd have the confidence to go and try and fix cars. Well, I'm not that daft, but God, and
Who do you blame for this?
that's just an easy way out. I have to blame myself. Don't I?
Yeah.
What was the
Well-
teacher like?
Well, there's loads of different ones. I didn't like... I mean, the history teacher, it is my own fault, because with her, she was a bit mental, and I used to kind of stop the lesson by saying, "Oh, miss, tell us about your fireplace you've got that is made from a gravestone." Because that's what
That
she
would
had.
stop any English teacher in their
No, 'cause-
tracks.
and she loved telling you about it. So
Yeah.
it was like, oh,
I learned
brilliant.
that from a
So
teacher,
that's what
yeah.
I didn't know about divorce, head loss, and all that.
Yeah.
Dandruff legs.
Because-
Horse, head loss, dandruff legs.
But remember now, divorced, beheaded, died, divorced, beheaded, survived. That's all you got to remember.
And what's that?
That's what happened to Henry VIII's various
In order.
wives. In order.
What does it spell out?
No, it doesn't spell out
spell anything, you just
it's
gotta remember
saying
the rhythm.
In order in which he married.
Yeah, but it helps. It's like when my mum taught me the alphabet. She taught me as like a song.
A,
And like
B, C,
Constanti-
D, E, F, G.
Yeah, constantly. No, not like that.
Huh.
That's how everyone else could do it, and I couldn't do it that way.
Right.
What
That
tune did she
A,
do
B,
it
C,
to?
D. It was A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z.